Hello Internets, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Cloud Kingdom LE. So limited edition. Doesn't bear well with putting a limited edition on a new map for a new season. So whatever, that's the name, no big deal. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. We're gonna have SleepySheep spawning as the blue Zerg in about the 2 o'clock position. So SleepySheep, that's a cute name, I like that. And spawning as the red Terran down in about the 7 o'clock position, we have coDa. Now both these players are about mid-platinum level players, and as we can see, coDa's about average for a platinum level player, while SleepySheep is a bit higher. I'm interested to see if that's actually spam or what exactly he's doing. I'm not quite sure what he's doing to have such a high APM. It does look like he's spamming a bit, just kind of triple, quadruple clicking, but let's see if he keeps it up for that entire game and see what that is all about. And as you can see, this, like I said before, this is a PVT, so nothing too crazy is going to happen. Nothing as of right now. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that that the Zerg is going to fast expand while Terran is just going to go ahead and wall off. So as you can see, the barracks is going down, and both players are just droning up. And this is actually one of the maps that I enjoy the most out of all of them, all the new ones. Really, I mean, it is kind of small, but there is a lot of options for expansions for both sides. I mean, the natural expansion is very easy to get with the wide open ramp with about half of it's blocked off by the destructible rocks, while the third is very easy to get as well. I mean, there is a main ramp here, but then there's also another over here, another walkway over here, but still fairly easy to get that third. And then also this fourth, if you're not careful, you could actually take your opponent can actually take this in the middle of all that craziness while you're not expecting it at all, and that could just, you know, kind of cause a bit of a problem for you in the long run. And as you can see, SleepySheep does put down his expansion down. It looks like about a 13-14 range, and as of right now, he is just continuing to drone up. He finally puts down his spawning pool to start producing those Zerglings, but at the moment, it doesn't look like he's going to do anything else. No, an extractor actually finally being put down, so more than likely, we're going to go ahead and see Speedlings right off the bat put those 3 drones on that extractor, and not sure if he's going to pull them off or not once he gets speed. And as you can see, he's actually doing stealing coDa's second Vespin Geyser, so we're not going to see any kind of cloaked Banshee harass like I did in my last cast, I believe, last couple of casts. So no cloaked Banshee harass, nothing too high tech. And from what it looks like actually coDa, that's what coDa had in mind, since he already does have a factory going down. So unless he decides to go for Hellion harass right off the bat, he needs to bring this extractor down very quickly to be able to start turning out that gas to be able to get those cloak banshees in time. And I actually think it's already a bit too late for him to do so, as I accidentally click the menu button. Fantastic react. So let's go ahead and take a look at SleepySheep, and nothing else is too crazy. I mean, he does have gonna get 100 gas for that metabolic boost, and right now both hatcheries are producing those queens, and let's see if he actually does pull off those drones off that extractor, and it doesn't look like he does. He is getting metabolic boost though, so more than likely this extractor is just going to keep mining out, more than likely going to get roaches later on in a bit. And as we can see, reactor going down on this barracks, and a command center going down for coDa very quickly, so about a 5-minute mark, so very interesting to see him already throwing down a command center. It's about a minute or two earlier than usual, and as you can see, the reactor does go down, factory is going to go down, so that double Hellion production is going to start churning out. I love to see this kind of play. We actually see 1, 2, 3, 4 little Zerglings right here, and this, ooh, that supply depot is down. If he doesn't get it up in time, these Zerglings will be able to rush into his base and see what everything is going on. And it looks like, you know what, looks like SleepySheep is deciding to have no part of it, decides to pull back. More than likely, I think he did see that, yep, he did see that that Hellion production going on, so he does the basic thing about trying to wall off completely, or trying to wall off as much as possible with these buildings and these spine crawlers to be able to protect themselves from any sort of harassment. And as you can see, as we saw from that previous cast that I did, Hellion harass can be devastating. I mean, you were seeing Hellions, like I think a dozen or so Hellions got more than 10 kills each. So that was huge. Here comes the Hellions. We're gonna see. Let's see what happens exactly. One flame goes down. So there it goes. We got 2 Zerglings already down, and coDa decides to pull back. Sees those that second Spine Crawler about to hatch, and decides to have no problems with it. And actually, if you actually scoot it on back here, that's one Spine Crawler will probably get 1, maybe 2 hits off. So if he just runs back here, you actually be able to harass here, and then run back up into the main and do as much harassment as possible. You could actually do quite a bit of run by, especially with these 4 Hellions. I mean, once he gets that 4th Hellion, 4 Hellions, and if he gets this 3rd one healed up, or this one of these ones that was damaged healed up, he'd actually be able to run by quite easily. We see a bunker going down in his natural expansion. Looks like he's gearing up to take it as soon as possible. We actually have his expansion already into an orbital command, so good for him. It's going to be able to recharge that energy on its way when it's going to fly over. And as we can see, roaches are out in the field for a SleepySheep, and I don't know if he spotted this. It looks like he did spot these Hellions, since he is pulling back and he's going to go ahead and start chasing them. Not sure how he spotted them. More than likely got into that Zenlaga tower, got vision for quite a bit. He needs to pull back these Hellions. These Hellions will do pretty much 0 damage. I mean, look at that. They are armored, so that Infernal Pre-Igniter, it doesn't do that much damage at all. I mean, you want to be able to hit those light units, which are going to be these Zerglings, these drones, and it looks like coDa is forced to pull back, but still, this first avenue of attack, he could actually do a little fake or a feint, go back up here with a couple Hellions while he pushes forward with 3 or 4 over here, and go by that same little area that I was talking about earlier. But now that this evolution chamber is up, there is pretty much no chance for that to happen. So he should really stop that Hellion production as soon as possible, and he looks like he is. Siege mode is pretty much done, so that's going to be fantastic for him. Siege tanks are very powerful for their cost, especially if they have siege mode engaged. So as you can see, that the barracks is back on that reactor, so we're going to start turning on those Marines. I'd actually like to see him put down a tech lab. There it is, since his money is kind of high, and put down a couple more unit producing structures. He has a 3rd orbital command already up and running. It's already been transformed to an orbital command, and given by the amount of energy, it's probably been up for a good few, at least 60 seconds. So as you can see, Hellions are still poking around, doing as much damage, just pretty much scouting at this point. There's nothing much else that he can do with these. He can't attack. I mean, everything is pretty much walled off, and with these Zerglings here, there's no chance of a wall off. He's going to be able to pick off this drone right here that's going to try to expand. There it goes. Goodbye, drones. Nothing for you. And from what we can see from both players, go ahead and take a look at the APM, see if it's still high. Nope, it looks like SleepySheep's APM kind of averaged out to about 60, while coDa's at 40. So about platinum level player right there, I would say. I know people say APM does not equal skill, which is true, but it still is an indication of where they are as a player. I mean, someone with a 20 APM is not going to be a diamond or masters level player. Obviously, it's going to be more of a bronze and silver level player, and that's just what I'm saying about the APM levels and whatnot. And as you can see, this orbital command is still not flying over to take his third. I mean, it'd be easy to just hop up, boom, put it here. A couple of siege tanks, a couple of bunkers there would have protected it quite nicely. Not sure why it's still back here, pretty much not doing anything at the moment. And as you can see, in the production tab, we don't see anything too crazy. I mean, we see an extra spawning, a starport, and a baneless going down, and you actually see a lot of Zerglings. So a lot of Zerglings. Once this baneless is done, I'm pretty sure these are all going to be turning into banelings, and it's going to just make mincemeat out of all these. I mean, unless he pushes these Marines forward to just absorb as much damage as possible and stagger them like in groups of 2s or 3s, it's going to be tough cookies for coDa to be able to defend. I mean, he does have plenty of siege tanks to be able to hold. I would actually like to see him put 1 and 2 up here now that he spotted that kind of push. If they're up here at the high ground, they are not going to be attacked, and coDa's doing the right thing, pushing forward with single Marine, seeing exactly what's going down. And we actually saw Spire going is completed for SleepySheep, and he's going to start that Mutilis Harass. And you know what, coDa is prepared for it. He already has a couple of 3 missile turrets, so perfect placement, perfect timing. I would actually like to see a couple more over here to protect his natural, and it looks like that's exactly where SleepySheep is going to attack. This Marine does its duty, you know, bats away at those Mutilis, gets him down a couple of HP, but now that coDa should be aware of this, but it doesn't look like he moves his units in time. Full saturation here. Let's see how much damage is really being done. Oh, wow. We see a couple of Mutilis, already 2 kills, and this Mutilis is going to push back, go forward out through here and it just attacks whatever they can, pick off anything that they can see, and finally a bunch of unit production structures are being put down for coDa, but unfortunately, I think it's a little bit too late. I mean, gathering up quite a surplus of minerals, and those Mutalisks, even though they didn't do that much damage, I mean, each got only a few kills here and there, they scouted around, which was, I believe, their main purpose of just pushing that deep into enemy base. And as you can see, upgrades are going down for both players. This is pretty much essentially the mid game, so they're both gearing up to along their perspective tech paths. And going into their in-game plans. Man, you try saying that 5 times fast, huh? Try saying that 1 time normally. God. And as you can see, we see quite a bit of an interesting, just nice little staggering of these siege tanks. I would like to see a couple up here on the high ground. I mean, if they put them up on the high ground, they're essentially invulnerable for anything attacking down low. And again, we're going to see more Mutalisk harassment. And oh, that medevac is done. And those, all those Marines. Poor Marines, they had no chance at all to be saved, and still no. The finally missile turrets are going down. We see 3. That will be enough to do any kind, to repel any kind of harassment. And obviously, I would like to see a couple of more missile turrets going down here as well, just to save off any kind of harassment. And right now, these siege tanks are very, very vulnerable. I mean, two Marines aren't going to do it, along with all of these. I mean, all of these Zerglings, they're just going to mow through all of these siege tanks. I mean, siege tanks are great only if they're backed up by Marines and Marauders, and since they are not, I mean, siege tanks up against pure Zerglings, I will bet money on those Zerglings every single time. And as you can see, we finally see a nice reinforced army by coDa. He's actually pushing forward quite a bit, trying to bait his enemies, and he actually sieges up just too forward, and he just takes. He's taking a lot of losses. Let's go ahead and take in the units lost tab. We actually see it even for both players, which is something you never want to see, especially when most of those units lost were, well, I mean, most of them were Marines, but there are quite a few were siege tanks. I mean, there was about 4 or 5 siege tanks that got destroyed, and as you can see, it makes sense because the resources is almost double for coDa, the Terran player. Oh wow, that's actually pretty big. You'd actually like to see him plop down this orbital command here as soon as possible, put down those bunkers and those siege tanks over here just to solidify. You see 3 Marines kind of going for a stroll, not even a medevac backup. I'm not sure what he's doing here. Looks like he's just moving them and just to attack, maybe just to harass to keep your opponent back. But with 3 Marines, I mean, this queen could mop this this little Marine army very, very easily, and they're just gonna. There you go, finally decides to attack. One queen's going to be able to take them down, no problem. There is nothing to worry about back in SleepySheep space. And wow, there he goes. Actually wasted a Baneling on that. Not sure that was the smartest move. But you know what? That's SleepySheep's deal, not mine. And finally, we can see the bunker. I'd actually like to see the bunker placement a little bit more forward of positioning. Or maybe a single medevac here to give him vision, and siege tanks here and here as well. And since this is so easily defended, I mean, you could actually destroy these bunkers, resalvage them, put a bunker here, just wall this off completely. Might as well wall this off completely. With a single siege tank here, we'll pretty much hold it off with a couple of turns over here, and you'll be pretty much safe. And from what the looks of it, coDa just went for that fast start and want to be able to keep up macro-wise and economically-wise with the Zerg player. And that's, you know what? That's always a very, very nice strategy, but not if you're going to be going up against this many Mutalisks. I mean, that's a ton of Mutalisks to be able to fight, and I actually need a bunch. I need to see a lot more Marines than that. And we finally see a bunch of reactors and still one with a tech lab, more than likely just to get those Marine enhancements, but as of right now, no Marauders on the field of play, and if those Banelings actually get into the fray, it's going to be bye-bye for those Marines. Let's go ahead and take a look at units and see if there is about a dozen Banelings, and more being morphed them along the way. So once those Banelings gets into this Marine pack, it's going to be all over for these siege things, especially with that Mutalisk backup. So right now, the unit composition does not favor coDa at all. It's actually SleepySheep's favor. If coDa had a few Marauders to be able to tank some more of that damage from those Banelings and maybe a couple of Vikings, not even a couple, quite a bit of Vikings, he would actually be able to handle this, especially if some of these Marines managed to, some of those Marines managed to save off in the upcoming battle. Since we can see from SleepySheep, there isn't any roaches. I mean, there's only from 5, and that was mostly from the original pack that was built to stave off those that Hellion harassment. And as of right now, there's pretty much nothing going on except these Banelings already got their centrifugal hooks, I think is what they recall, pretty much makes them roll around that much easier. And we actually see a gaggle of Marines here holding off the Zelnop Tiger. Know that this Mutalisk force is pushing forward, and it looks like SleepySheep is actually just trying to pull the forces over here to this side, while the Banelings actually do a little rear guard action. And if that happens, it's going to be bye-bye for this third. I mean, that's actually that would actually be a very good plan for SleepySheep to push forward with these units right here, attack this little main force, pull back, and then just swing by through the back door with those Banelings. Could actually take down this command center completely while doing some damage to these SCVs. As of right now, coDa's just doing the obvious thing, scanning forward, taking down as many these creep units as possible. And it looks like SleepySheep is actually rethinking this entire plan and actually producing a lot of Zerglings. These Zerglings are going to mop up those Marines along with that single Baneling. He needs to be a little bit more careful with those Banelings. He doesn't want to use too many of them up for no good reason. As of right now, he's just pushing forward. coDa just pushing forward with siege tanks and Marines. Still, I'd like to see him just integrate some Marauder force into it. And as you can see, these Mutalisks catch this lone siege tank by itself. He's going to happily take it down. And as you can see, the siege tank placement is just terrible. They're going to get picked off. And finally, Banelings are going to go in and watch the army melt by coDa. Now, what he was trying to do was pretty much just trying to do like a small, slow push forward with those siege tanks, but he just got completely out of position and lost everything. And as you can see in the units lost tab, it pretty much is very obvious what happened. I mean, once these Banelings are going to get in here, it's going to be all over everything. Third goes down. This entire expansion is going to go down from coDa, and coDa sees those Banelings still, and then he's trying to stutter step away, but there was just too much to be able to do it all at once. And these siege tanks actually do a ton of damage, but one or two Banelings actually gets through and gets a bunch of Marines, and that actually last engagement did favor coDa, but not until this expansion goes completely down. So still, it's a SleepySheep's game to lose at this point. I mean, he has 4 bases up. He's still mining some from his main. His natural is pretty much up there, along with his third and his fourth. So we see about 4 mining bases compared to 2 that coDa has. And coDa has just pushing forward a little bit too aggressively. These medevacs you want to keep in the rear. You never want them to take unnecessary damage that they're doing right now. And in production, we see a 22 more Banelings, and 5 Ultralisks are actually going down. I'm not sure what SleepySheep is doing. He's actually just waiting around, hanging out with these Banelings. These Banelings push forward, they can actually wipe out this entire force quite easily, but he decides to just sack this entire expansion and just buy this time and wait for these Ultralisks to pop. And actually, once they do, they'll be able to tank this artillery fire quite easily once they do. And as of right now, coDa's just revamping, trying to take that third, since his main is pretty much mined out, and his natural is going to be mined out in about a minute or so. So he's just gearing up, trying to take as much as just trying to take the economical advantage back in his favor. But as of right now, it's not happening. coDa's like just gonna try to do a little bit of drop. I'm not sure why. It looks like he's a bit distracted. He does have a Thor in the mix, trying to go ahead and just counter all that Mutalisks. But these Ultralisks finally popped. They're in the fray. They're trying to take out this other force of coDa, and these Mutalisks are here. They're gonna take down these medevacs. Mutalisks decide to pull back because these Thors are actually a single Thor does a lot of damage to these Mutalisks, but once these Banelings actually get in the fray, they're gonna take down these siege tanks. This Thor has no chance. You could actually stand and lift it off. There you go. He actually lifts up those SCVs to be able to repair. So very good play by coDa. He actually pushes forward, takes out that Ultralist Savage. So very good play by him, doing that little swing by attack. He'd actually like for him to keep a track of his units a little bit more. There he goes. He picks it up. Nice. He only managed to lose a single Marine in that whole engagement, which is very good for him. He's actually, but there's just too many Ultralisks on the field for SleepySheep. He actually sees 6 on the field, and there is nothing else that coDa has to be able to take out these units. I mean, he did take out all the Mutalisks with that Thor and Marine force that he had originally, but now he just seems like he's climbing an uphill battle. And there's about 4. He'd actually like for him to siege these up to be able to show these Ultras from a distance. But as of right now, there he goes. He finally decides to siege up, but it's too late now. These Ultras are too close for him, too close to be able to do any kind of damage, and these Marines kind of lifted up by these medevacs yet again, just to save them the fight for another day. And as we can see, let's go ahead and take a look at the income tab. We see about 40 harvesters for SleepySheep, 33 for coDa. So it's about average in the harvesters, but with the power of the mules, coDa is able to actually take the lead in mining for the moment. And as you can see, coDa did a really great play by taking out this expansion, and as you can see, he actually did another drop. He's going to try to take down the Spire as quickly as possible. SleepySheep notices it, tries to push forward with those ultimates, but it doesn't look like it. Actually looks like the Spire is going to survive, and he actually managed to get there in time. coDa needs to pull these Marines back if he doesn't want to lose them all, but he says, you know what, I got other things to worry about. Once those units were down, he actually picks up that medevac and starts to fly home. I'd actually like to see him scout about a little bit more just to spot this extra hatchery that's going down, but as of right now, he's just gearing up, trying to focus things on his base, while at the same time doing a bit of SCV transfer. So very interesting play by both players. This is swinging back and forth. Right now, I can't tell who's going to win. It's very interesting. Both players are still in a mix between Tier 1 and Tier 3 units. We see siege tanks and Marines. Finally, Marauders are being produced by coDa, while SleepySheep is still sticking with that Baneling, Zergling, and Ultralisk force. So as of right now, it's very interesting. The unit composition on both sides pretty much counters both players. I mean, the Banelings and Zerglings are going to take out these Marines, and the Ultralists are going to take out these siege tanks. But if coDa plays it nicely and plays it well, these siege tanks will actually do a ton of damage to the forces that SleepySheep has. Another little drop by coDa, just trying to do as much damage with as little investment as possible. And he might lose this medevac. He actually gets out of the line of vision of SleepySheep. That actually has 2 health on that medevac. So you know what? This thing has 2 health, but it looks brand new, like it just came out of the shop. Very interesting tech that the Terrans actually have. So I'm very interested to see if we ever get to that level. Planetary Fortress is up on his newest expansion, and it's obviously a good choice. You never know what's going to happen. And as you can see, he's going to push forward Shell from a distance yet again on this hatch. He's going to try to take it down, and it looks like SleepySheep is going to let it fall. A scan does reveal the forces of SleepySheep, and there is just a lot of Banelings. Once those Banelings get into that Marine, it is all over. The Ultralists actually tank as much damage from the C-section again. coDa loses almost his entire force to those Baneling Ultralists, and I would actually like to see him invest in something else. I mean, maybe some Marauders will help him quite a bit to bring down those Ultralisks. But as of right now, he has nothing. He's still continuing the production of those Marines, siege tanks, and hey, if at first you don't succeed, just keep on trying. And as of right now, all forces are pretty much centered around the south area of the map, and if coDa would actually swing around and attack from the north side, it actually would catch SleepySheep off guard. And right now in production, we don't see anything in production from SleepySheep. As we can see, the harvesters are pretty much getting pretty even, which is, you never want to be in an even harvester count against Terran, because they do have those mules. So if you're even with the Terran, you're pretty much behind, unfortunately. As you can see, SleepySheep decided to just bypass that entire army of coDa. They're actually going to attack him from the rear and see if there's going to be enough forces by SleepySheep to be able to take forward. Once the Banelings get into the Marine count again, and just completely melted in. Ultralists will mop up what's left of coDa's force, and coDa was forced to GG out of the game, since he pretty much had nothing after that fight. I mean, he had 13 Marines. And he pretty much didn't have anything else in production, just a Marauder and another siege tank, and he had a nice surplus of minerals, but he was just throwing away units left and right. So, and the units lost tab, we see 300 for coDa, about 433 for SleepySheep. But remember, each of those Banelings, he probably used up about 50 to 75 Banelings in this entire game. So it's pretty much even. Resources lost were pretty much even as well, and it just came down to, it looked like SleepySheep had the better unit composition for this match. So that was it. It's actually a very enjoyable match that I just casted, and went back and forth, and actually had fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave a comment down below on what I could do to make them more enjoyable for you. Also, leave a link down below to one of your replays, and I'll be happy to cast it for you. Just leave it at one of the major StarCraft 2 replay sites, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I'm going to get on out of here and probably take a nap. Yeah, take a nap.